Chair, we are here to present the COVID-19 Basic Education Sector Plan. We call it COVID-19 Basic Education Sector Plan.
But who is that now? Sorry, Tim. Who's doing that?
Your call has been placed on hold. Please wait.
But whose phone is doing that, honorable members?
So you have a choice of either dying from the virus, or if you continue with the lockdown because it remains a blunt object, then you might actually die of poverty and hunger.
How are you going to explain to someone that eats sand that they can't touch someone who they usually touch?
It's surprising that all of a sudden the department seem to be having all this capacity, which I doubt it has.
Think about what this lockdown has done is that it's made the inequality so loud that we cannot ignore it.
Must be on.
You are live. You are live. Your camera must be on.
That is not true. That's not true.
The flame represents the virus, and then the trees or the bush represent the citizens. And I do believe that this was done in a rush.
Singicabange kahle baby ngihamba nawe ngikhetha wena kuphela ngifuna abanye wena kumele ungizalele izingane uthando la ngempela ngeliqhabuka ngawe.
Hello, Skinn'e, and hey, it's your girl Busi here, and today I'm coming to you with a very serious topic. It's a joke that this presentation was, but today we're going to be talking about the Department of Basic Education's presentation with regards... Ooh, did I just spit in my camera? With regards to reopening schools during this whole COVID situation. So this presentation was given yesterday.
I don't know with other people, but I don't see the presentation on the screen. Just a little bit, Gigi.
Me neither, okay.
If you're having trouble with the presentation on the screen, try exiting the meeting and returning to the meeting.
What a mess. Like, what a mess. So, I made notes because, you know, that's what we do. And I'll be inserting these clips so that you guys don't think I'm making this up, because if someone told me this, I would not have believed it. So one of the most telling aspects of this entire presentation is the fact that Parliament isn't even open. They're doing this via video call, yet it's going to be safe enough to allow kids to go back to school. Like, I mean, I understand Zoom meetings can be a bit of a nightmare. Right now, I'm in China and I have my lectures via Zoom. And sometimes, you know, some things go wrong. Someone's connection goes out or something like that. You know, small things. But I have never had such a train wreck of a class. And the fact that these people who cannot even have a meeting on Zoom or whatever they're using think that they can reopen schools. I mean, it's just so unrealistic. It's just the level of incompetence in this entire thing.
Let me also take my own camera off.
No, Gigi, yours must be on.
Must be on.
You are live. You are live. Your camera must be on.
People had their mics on.
Yeah.
Now what is this now?
It's because people have not muted their mics, and therefore it brings the echo as I speak.
You could hear dogs barking. You could hear someone's phone.
Your call has been placed on hold. Please wait.
But whose phone is doing that, honorable members?
Someone started singing the national anthem.
Chair, we are here to present the COVID-19 Basic Education Sector Plan. We call it COVID-19 Basic Education Sector Plan.
But who is that now? Sorry, Tim. Who's doing that?
You can't make this up. Like, you really can't.
My hand is up.
You can't see you. No one can see you.
Can I come in now?
Can I come in? Let me stop being petty, but let's get down to the real issues that I have with this, right? So the model, B, whatever they were calling him, he keeps referring to, I mean, these countries. So it's Sweden, China, Taiwan, as examples of countries that, you know, took a small break or didn't take a break at all and then resumed with their education.
Some of our critics are saying, why are we looking this far? Why should we talk about Taiwan? Why should we talk about Denmark? Why should we talk about Sweden and there's other countries here? The simple logic is that these countries have gone through what we are starting to go for. Schools had to be COVID-19 compliant. Denmark, a very interesting one. Denmark opened ECD centers and primary schools to grade 5 with no face masks, no COVID-19 in some of the information that has been running even in the social media. And then in terms of China, also China closed their schools from 20th of January to the 6th of February. And then
so I'd just like to quickly add, that is not true. That's not true. So I'm in mainland China. To say that schools have opened in China is just simply not true. I mean, some schools have opened, but certainly not for little kids. And most of the schools are continuing with online learning. So for them to say that they're using like China as a model, when, like, I can't stress this enough, China in terms of the coronavirus is at least 1 month or maybe 2 months ahead of South Africa in like the trends, because South Africa only got its first case in March. China got its first case in November. So do you see how this is different? You cannot just rush this process. If China's only deciding to partially open some schools in like the end of April and going towards May, do you not see how you cannot be trying to do this now? It would be grossly irresponsible.
The DG has referred to international schools like Sweden. I just want to know, our situation is very different.
Yeah, in China, they're not letting students that live off campus, especially international students, enter the campus at all. So, because that's how serious this thing is. It's generally kind of understood that children, not babies obviously, but children usually have a stronger immune system and so aren't at a high risk when it comes to this disease unless they have pre-existing conditions. But can you imagine that if a child gets this from another child at school and takes it home to, you know, their grandparents? Because let's not pretend that we can model South Africa after countries like Sweden. I lived in Sweden for a year. I know Sweden, guys. It's a totally different society. South Africa is a society that was ripped apart by HIV and AIDS. I mean, so many young kids don't have parents. Their primary caregiver are their grandparents. So do you not see that if we're saying, oh, it's not safe enough for the adults to go out to work, it's not safe enough for the general population to go out, but it's safe enough for the kids to go out, that these kids can go to school, get the virus, come back home and give it to the person that provides for them. Do you not see that you are not protecting the parents in this? You're not protecting the grandparents by letting the kids go out. Kids touch everything. Kids eat sand. How are you going to explain to someone that eats sand that they can't touch someone who they usually touch? I mean, kids share pencils. How can you exercise social distancing with little kids?
As we all know, it stops economic activity. So you have a choice of either dying from the virus, or if you continue with the lockdown because it remains a blunt object, then you might actually die of poverty and hunger.
Can we get on this statement? Basically, the statement is, we're gonna die. So it's either we die from corona or we're gonna die from poverty. How can you say this? I mean, there's nothing positive there. They brought up the fact that some schools don't have proper toilets. Water is an issue. How can you tell these people to be How can you tell these people to be extra cautious, extra sanitary, when they don't even have like a proper toilet? I mean, even water, like a running tap. South Africa is literally one of the most unequal countries in the world. And you have places like the Western Cape, and Cape Town in particular. If you think about what this lockdown has done, is that it's made the inequality so loud that we cannot ignore it. In this lockdown period, obviously schools stopped. So you have a lot of rural schools, township schools, you know, not formal Model C schools, that's what they did. They locked down. No lessons, nothing. And then you have these more privileged schools that started to do online learning. So now you have a situation where, especially with matrics, or even actually everyone, but mostly matrics and grade 11s, you have a situation where now learning has stopped. Well, learning has stopped, but yet other people are continuing with their learning. When exams come knocking, who's going to be able to succeed? Who's going to be able to pass? Who's going to be able to go to university? The people that have been systemically more privileged over the years will continue to be able to prosper, and the inequality will just grow and grow and grow. And we cannot have that. We cannot have that 26 years after the dawn of democracy. And can you believe that it actually took Corona for the government to start doing what it was supposed to have been doing all along? The promises that they always try to give us before elections. These videos of government delivering water tanks so that people have water for the first time. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The government could have delivered all these things, but yet they just didn't have those things in priority. I'm not here to offer solutions because there almost aren't any other countries that we can look at really as kind of an example or a guiding force, because South Africa is in this tricky situation where we obviously aren't a first world country, we're in the developing world, but people often look to us for an example. So when we try to look to the first world to try and model ourselves after them, we always fall short because we're not like China. But there isn't fast, accessible internet almost everywhere. You know, mobile devices aren't super cheap and affordable. So you have this situation of, it's like, oh yeah, we can go and carry on like China. China enforced very, very, very strict, you know, I can't talk much on that, but you don't have the capacity to make masks like China. You don't have the capacity to, I mean, one thing is that you need to realize that the ratio of police personnel to civilians in China is crazy. There are police everywhere in China. They can actually enforce these things. In South Africa, you know, we're deploying the military, but also now, I just read an article that said over 100 police officers were found positive for corona. So do you...
But if I were given time to choose between time and life, I would insist that it is better to have life than time.
I think that the government really wants to, you know, get back to the economy. The economy must restart. The economy is not kids, okay? The kids aren't driving the economy. The kids can stay at home. You know, I wondered why Spain and Italy went through what they went through, because it was so confusing to me, because I have a lot of friends who are Italian, for example, and they were like, it's because our government told us that everything was fine. It's because our government told us it was just the flu. You know, everything carried on, business as usual. They didn't close schools, they didn't act fast enough, and look at what happened. How many people had to die before they decided, oh, okay, we need to start, you know, locking things down? South Africa acted very quickly. I mean, they could have acted a little bit, you know, a little bit quicker, but I think that they acted very, very quickly. I commend the government for all the steps that they've taken by doing the state of not emergency, state of planning, state of something. They had a state of something. State of disaster. Ooh, Coco. So they had a state of disaster, and then they did the national lockdown. I commend the government for taking those steps, because we flattened the curve, but now I don't know what's happening, but I commend that. And now they're going from getting South Africa has been commended on international news. I've seen it. Like, South Africa, wow, you guys are doing the things, yay, and now what? Like, what? So also, something that hasn't been considered in this is that you have a lot of schools where students are boarders. So what happens then? Are they allowed to go back to boarding school? Because some people go to schools in out of their province. So what is supposed to happen? I mean, guys, come on. I mean, I could go on and on and on, but I won't because it's really late right now. So I need to just edit this video and put it out because something has to be done about this immediately. I'm literally taking off my makeup now. And I've just finished making my video. But manje, uNG has made a statement basically saying a bunch of nothing. But basically they're saying that they didn't say that kids must go back to school. Excuse me. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. And the more you watch, the more you engage, the more content I will make. No, I'm joking. Even if no one watches, I will keep making content because I'm passionate about these issues. I'm obviously passionate about South Africa. Hello. Like, this is not just for this. So yeah, I will catch you guys next time. Bye.